Hello, everybody. Welcome to this webinar. This one is relaxing exercises for parents. And if you're going to just be able to listen to the whole video the whole way through, then maybe you can try these things that I'm going to suggest, as we go along. And maybe you need to pause the video and try it and then come back and look at the next thing and so on. So if you're doing that, first question might be, what are your stress levels right now? And by stress levels, people might understand stress in different ways, like how much they feel frustrated or under pressure, and you know. And what I'm really talking about is what's the kind of load on your nervous system? How much is your brain having to deal with right now? Illness and pain and worries and sensory things and a busy day with lots of trying to process lots of information and so on and so forth. So if you can give yourself a score, sometimes I think that's helpful just to compare. So compare like now with what you might feel like after you've done some exercises. So if it works for you to put a number on it. So 10 could be you're totally stressed out to the maximum, and 1 is, hey, I feel completely relaxed. So I wonder what your score is right now. Okay. Okay. Next thing is also a question, what do you know already that works for you? What helps you to relax? What helps you to calm down? And we might all be able to come up with a list, right? Put your feet up, watch television, go and have a shower, have a glass of wine, whatever it is. And I just wonder if you have any other things apart from some of those. And I wonder if you have any techniques that you have already. Like maybe do you hold your breath or you count to 10, and anything quick and easy that maybe takes less than a minute, but you know has a noticeable effect on you. All right. I'm going to show you a couple of mine. Some of you may know some of these because some of them are quite well known, I think. But the first one is using cushions or a table. And this one is eye palming. So I'm just going to show it on myself first of all. So I'm going to close my eyes. I'm going to leave them closed. I'm going to put my hands over the top. But the hands are not pressing on the eyes. So, because the eyes are soft and we don't want to do that. And you're welcome just to find a different position to me. Look, where are the hands going to sit comfortably on your face? Sometimes I notice people have the hands more like this. So it's actually the fingers that are over the eyes. And if you prefer that, then I would say do it. But purists would probably say that it's called eye palming because you want to put the whole palm on the eye. So you try, see what's going to work for you. And the point of resting the elbows is trying to get the body as much as possible to relax and be in a comfortable position. So if you've done that with me before, very often on courses, I just do it for 20 seconds, 30 seconds. So you're welcome to try that now for that amount of time. I would also encourage you to try it for longer, maybe just like 1 minute. 1 minute doesn't sound very long, probably, but sometimes, people have such busy lives that having complete peace and space to be on your own and just sit still for a minute, maybe that's quite rare. So that's something to consider. What's going to work for you with any of these relaxing suggestions I've got? How many of them do you need to do when you're on your own? How many of them do you need to do a couple of times to sort of get familiar with them? How well do they work for you if other people are with you? Sometimes I say to people with eye palming, do it when you're on the toilet. So you can be sat there on the toilet, got the door closed, and you're on your own for a minute, and you can feel you can count on having some peace and quiet to do this. Almost everybody likes it, but we've all got different nervous systems. So if you happen not to like it, it's totally fine. And what it might be is either something feels uncomfortable about it, fair enough, or it's possible some people, again, just rarely, but some people do report feeling a little dizzy when they close their eyes. All right. So that was eye palming. The next one is similar. It's ear palming, if you like, and it's the same sort of concept as using your hands over the ears as a relaxing kind of thing to do. And again, I've got my elbows supported and I'm sitting comfortably. And some people like to really warm up their hands first of all, but having warm hands makes it much more comfortable and pleasant. Some people like to have the hands a bit more bowl shaped, and other people like it with hands much straighter. So again, just try it out, see which one feels best to you. You don't have to close your eyes with this one. So if you happen to be a person that felt a bit uncomfortable with eye palming, maybe you could try it with eyes open first and see if that works better for you. So if some of you have done handle courses, you might know there's this exercise is there with handle. And again, on a course, we might do it for this 30 seconds or so time. And I'm just suggesting try it at least once when it's longer, like 1 minute, like I said, with the eye palming, or even a bit longer than that, 2 minutes maybe, if you've got that. If you've got that kind of time. Try something longer just because I'm just interested in not only, just might be even more relaxing, might do even more for you to sort of ease away the stress. But it also seems to me that it might make a difference. In other words, my level of how much the stress is easing away might vary throughout the activity. So when it might just be that, okay, I'm doing it, I'm not feeling very much, but I'm doing it, okay. And then after, let's say, maybe at 30 seconds or at 40 seconds, suddenly the body then starts to relax and feel more at ease. So just to check out if there's something like that that might happen for you, that's why I'm suggesting try it at least once as an experiment to do it a little bit longer. Okay. I just need a sip of water. All right. The next one is walking interlocking hands. So it means just making hands like this and walk around. When I do it, I often have my hands sort of around my tummy area. But you can just try different heights. You could have the hands a bit higher. You can have them down much lower. Try and find what's comfortable for you. If for some reason you don't like this hand position, I think a lot of people do, but if you don't, try something else. So feeling our hands in this way can give us much more of a sense of input into the body, feeling the body, awareness of the body, and all of that you've probably heard us talk about before, we call proprioception, and proprioception is strongly linked with a sense of ease and comfort inside. So doing things onto the body, whether touching yourself, being in contact with yourself, or getting a massage, or getting a hug, and so on, all of these things can feel very soothing and reassuring for that reason. Okay? You might prefer to give a bit more of a squeeze here on the hands. Play with that again. Find what's the level of squeeze that you enjoy. And it's possible that that one is a little less visible. Like if I sit somewhere and do this, right, people might look at me and think, what's going on, and so on. Whereas if I'm just holding my hands, at least I think it's a bit It's not so noticeable. I'm not expecting people to start looking at me and wonder what I'm doing. Okay. So we've got something for the eyes, so that can be great if people get very tired from looking at a computer screen, looking at their phones, looking at the road when they're driving, reading, doing their homework, and so on and so on. And what can easily happen with that is not just, oh, I feel tired because I've been driving a lot today, but it can be that the first thing I might notice about it is I'm in a bit of a bad mood, or I've had an argument with somebody, or I'm upset about things. Um, I feel less on top of my life and the things I have to do. And that can happen to all of us, but if our eyes are if eyes are tired out, even if we don't physically feel something with the eyes, then helping them be relaxed might help all those other things I just mentioned. It might help us in general feel calmer. It might, because we're more calm, we might not have that argument with our partner. We might be in a better mood. We might be more flexible with our kids. We might be more able to stop and hang on it. I don't really like what my child is doing here. How am I going to react? And when the brain is more relaxed, I think it's easier to get creative in those moments and come up with some thought or suggestion of what we can do. So calming the eyes, calming the ears, walking around like this can help us have that calmer brain, that creative brain. And hopefully that means we've got more energy and we connect more with people and so on. All right. So the next one is kneeling down. So I'm just going to show that to you, and you're just only going to try this, of course, if you're able to kneel, if you've got some comfortable floor or some cushion or something to kneel on, that you can actually physically do that. So bear with me a moment while I just adjust the camera. Try that. Just checking if you can still see me. All right. So I guess that's going to be fine. So kneeling down gives a lot of pressure on feet and the ankles and the hips and the knees. And that pressure, those are on joints, and those joints in the body, major joints, have got nerves, got proprioceptors that help us feel the pressure as we put the weight, our body weight onto these joints. And that pressure helps give input to proprioception. Pressure can help us feel calm. So you could just sit like this for a minute and see if that makes you feel better. What people might also try adding is combining the hands. I just intuitively did this right now. You could try interlocking the hands. You can just find whatever position is comfortable for you and seems to work the best. You can make the legs slightly wider and then just have the hands being inside, and just find a position somewhere where is a good place for that to sit. You might have hands that more look like hands that are praying and have them more tucked inside. Well, certainly when I do this, I quite like closing my eyes. And now the question is what to do in your mind. So, ability to focus on what we're doing and stay concentrating in the moment, that varies with people, what they prefer to do to help that. So what people often do is they think about their breath, and that helps them stay present. Other people might like to count in their head or do something with their mind, focus on themselves, focus on somebody, focus on situation. And one thing with the breath is that you can For example, one technique I came across that I quite like is breathing in slowly, and I count what I think are roughly seconds, counting to maybe about 5 with a slow in breath. And then I like to hold it for another 7 seconds. And then I like to let the breath go for about 8 or 9 seconds. So I do that, and then I might repeat that cycle. And I find for me that works really well. It's very calming, very settling. So again, remembering that everybody's so different, you just adapt any of that to suit you. So some people don't like to hold their breath. They much prefer just to sort of breathe in slowly, breathe out slowly. If you know that works for you, great. If you're not sure, try it out different ways and see what happens. Okay. So you could add raising the shoulders and even maybe tipping the head back a little bit as you breathe in, and maybe raise the chest, and then slowly let the breath go and let the body position go. Okay. I like that a lot. I'm hoping you're liking it as well. Let me put the camera back. Okay. All right. Yeah. So I'm going to tell you about a couple more things now. So either you're going to pause the video and give it a try, or if you just want to make a couple of notes and try it later. So this would be the moment to grab a pen if you haven't got one already. All right. So the next one I also like a lot. Typically what I would do is I would stand up and then I would try to tense my whole body. I'm not sure if it's possible to tense all the muscles, but I try it. So the feet on the ground, I curl up the toes. So curling up the toes can give a lot of effect on the body awareness because there's a lot of nerves in the brain that are responsible for the toes and for the feet. So you can do that. So this is what I try to do. I tend to go around the body and I try to tense up each piece of the body. So even tensing up the bum, it's quite a big muscle. So tensing it up can have an effect. Might do the same things before, raising shoulders, making fists, having the arms bend, raise chest, raise shoulders, breathe in as I tense up everything and even tense up the whole face. And then you can let it, excuse me, you can let it go. Again, it's typical for me to like tensing up everything as I breathe in. And then I like to hold it for 5, 6, 7, 8 seconds. And then slowly let it go. Very, very slowly if it's possible. And then maybe just be still for another 10 seconds. Again, more experiments to do here. And so, for example, some people quite like to be tense and then straight away let it go. And so no holding the position and no holding their breath. And also some people prefer when they let it go reasonably quickly, let it go. Okay? There's no one right answer about this. So try it out. Do you like it fast, the letting go? Do you like it really slow? Do you like it whatever medium would be? All right. And do the thing that you notice works for you. What feels good, what feels comfortable. And I think it's worth trying the other things. You might have a strong instinct. Oh, I think I would like it quickly pour. But still, I will, if you're up for trying it at least once, a medium or a slow, just to see, oh yeah, and then maybe that's going to confirm you were right. And doing it more quickly just feels better in the body. Then you can be more certain that that's right for you. And then that could be your calming technique. All right. So that one is a bit more obvious, isn't it? Right? Like if you started doing that, right, people are going to see you, and maybe some of the other ones, like I was saying, just like hold your hands together. Maybe it's possible though that when you're with people, or you've let's say you've got children around you at home or at work, maybe you can do a little bit of that. Like if you were standing as you're with the children, and maybe you're getting a bit stressed by whatever situation, maybe you can curl up the feet a little bit in your shoes and they can't see that. Or maybe you can tense at least your bum. And I'm not sure. Maybe if you put your hands together a little bit, um, maybe you could do that without it being very visible. And so it's not doing the whole thing, but just would be interesting to know if just doing a little part of it is still kind of useful. I just tend to think, even if we don't deal with all the stress that's there for you, all the feelings, you can still feel it in your body. But even just taking off the top end of it, that could be great. Because when stress gets up to a certain level, then we just feel like, oh, I just can't cope anymore, and I'm starting to get angry and maybe aggressive, and maybe shout at people and so on. And if we're feeling a lot of stress, but any technique like this has kept us below that level, so we are managing it, then success. Okay. One thing that I forgot to mention is when I was kneeling down on the floor, an alternative to that might be sitting with your legs crossed. And just in case that's more comfortable for you. Okay. And sometimes people might not be so flexible and so on, and then maybe they can sit on a cushion on the floor, like a yoga cushion or something. Okay. Very good. The next thing I want to talk about is vigorous exercise. This is not part of my sort of normal work, or at least wasn't up until very recently, and it's not part of my training. But I'm talking about it because over the last year, there's a few people that I like to follow on Facebook have been talking about vigorous exercise and how good it is for the brain. So I'm sure that if you look that up, you are going to find quite a lot of information online all about that. And hopefully, like me, you're going to find that convincing as well. So my own personal experience over the last year would be that because we have a hill right by where we live, within 1 minute I'm walking up the hill. So not only is that lovely because I'm out in the countryside and so on, but that it's a steep hill. I'm going to be, if I'm walking reasonably quickly, then I'm going to be out of breath pretty quickly. And that's what I'm aiming for. That's my understanding of the vigorous exercise. So I'm not trying to go absolutely as fast as I possibly can go. I'm not pushing myself to the total limit like that. But somebody once described it as being out of breath. So you can still say a few words, but it would be maybe difficult to hold a whole conversation. So I'm hoping that's a useful guide for you and give you a sense of what I'm talking about. And my understanding is doing a few minutes of that every day, that's very beneficial for the brain. So people vary in various estimates, but if you were doing roughly 20, 25 minutes a day, or maybe more of that level of exercise, then that can be really good for you. I'm just giving you one example that I have a hill, so I can just walk up. It's really easy. I don't need any equipment and it's for free, and right, so it ticks lots of boxes. If you don't have a hill, one way to do it might just be walk as fast as you can. Okay. And then again, you might get a bit out of breath, and that might be doing the same effect for you. It might be helping your whole body, brain, nervous system to calm down. And if you're fitter and stronger than that, and walking as fast as you can doesn't really, it gets you breathing a little, but not a lot, then another possibility might be to have a rucksack on and put something in that's got a bit of weight in it for you. So now you're having to work that little bit harder when you're walking, even if it's still all on the level, on the flat. All right. So apart from that, there's going to be times maybe when you have to be at work. You can't just go off for a walk, or you are at home and you might have a moment to go and do something, but you've got to be keeping an eye on your child or something like this, right? So um, any exercises, just normal classic exercises that you can think of that you're happy doing or enjoy doing, maybe they can help you get a little bit out of breath. This might be just a micro dose. It might not be the 20, 25 minutes. It might just be 2 minutes. And my understanding is doing 2 minutes, maybe a few times a day, can also have a really good effect and that it's worth doing. Okay. So anything like doing push-ups might do the trick. Anything like doing squats. Okay. So squat would be, I'm thinking maybe you know already what a squat is, but you just bend all the way down. So I bent my knees all the way down. I'm sort of virtually sitting on my heels, and then I just come back up again. Okay. So, and when I do that, my heels come off the ground. So when I'm down, I nearly lost it then. When I come down, I'm needing to keep my balance. So I'm also working on my balance, not just working on relieving the stress. So extra benefits there. So you can try doing that. How many can you do at one time? Maybe like me, you can't do lots and lots. I do about 20 maybe. Um, Sometimes I can get up to 30 if I'm doing it more often. But however many you can do them and see if that gets you out of breath. And then I might just take a break for a little bit, and then I come back and might do it again. So typically for me, I might have days when I'm working on the computer a lot and so on. And in order to have a break from the screen, I might come down, make a drink, do some squats, drink a bit of my cup of tea, let's say, and do some more squats. Might do a few press ups, just to have a few minutes of getting the blood flowing, but getting this burst of vigorous exercise. And I don't know how it is for you, but for me, I'm often, when I'm thinking about exercise, I'm often imagining people that are athletes and they're fit and I'm not. And then maybe it's hard to compare because I'm makes me feel like, oh, I can't really do very much. I'm not very strong, really, am I? I haven't got lots of muscles. And I've been over time, I've been just trying to tell myself, look, do something. Stop having these kind of thoughts in your head. Do something. Something is better than nothing. And the way to get a bit fitter is to do a little something. Don't overdo it, but do a little something and try to do it regularly. So what that means to me with doing the press ups, for example, is I will, even now, I can't tell you with a straight face because I'm sort of laughing at myself, but I will do a press up, but leave my knees on the ground. And then I will do however many, 10, 20, like that. And I can still feel my body that I'm working it and I'm doing something and it gets the heart rate up and everything. So it's doing what I want it to do. And for the upper body, it's much better that I'm doing a little something of exercise rather than doing nothing. Doing nothing just allows the body and the muscles to go further downhill with age. Okay, so maybe if you're like me, learning to just be okay with whatever level you're at and just do at least a little something, it is where you're at. And you can just do a mixture of these things. You can just come down, you just do some squats, give yourself a few seconds break, however long you need, do some press ups, have another little break, do some more squats, find something else that you like doing. So if your home has lots of stairs in it, even if you're in a flat, but maybe you're not on the ground floor, so you can go up and down stairs. If you go up and down stairs for a few minutes, I imagine a lot of us would get out of breath doing that. So that could be another possibility. All right. So Just give me 1 second. All right. So, as part of doing it gently and accepting wherever you are currently, your current state of strength and fitness and stamina, one way of doing this is maybe just do some of this vigorous exercise, maybe just for 1 minute, and then check. How do I feel? Am I okay? Did I manage that quite all right? Do I feel I can do a bit more? And if you're not sure, maybe leave it and wait till the next day and do another minute. And just uh, this might be hard for some people that are not the greatest at planning and sticking to things and organizing their lives and so on. But at least the theory is it just can be so helpful, I think, just to do a little that you can definitely do and don't push yourself too hard and do that every day. But if it's a minute more than you normally do, I'm imagining after a week, after 2 weeks, your body will be noticeably a bit stronger. It might not be lots and lots stronger, but you'll notice the difference because it's been doing stuff that normally it doesn't do. And then in a relatively short space of time, I'm imagining your body's going to be able to do 2 minutes. So allow yourself to build up like that, keeping the mind positive as well by, hey, I'm doing something. I'm doing a good job here, aren't I? I think also I'm not just doing it so that you'll feel better, but I'm telling it to you because the more you do feel better and the more you're staying with a positive attitude about what you're doing, that's part of also what helps us get rid of stress and helps the brain be in that calmer state. All right. Okay. The next thing to say is a walk, a run, walk. And this is something that a colleague of mine told me some while ago. She had this technique for running. She'd never been a runner, but she wanted to try this out. And what it was she'd go walking first for a few minutes. And then this is on the first day, right? Because as a non-runner, non-sporty person, she'd walk for a bit. And then after a bit, she'd run, but just for 30 seconds or thereabouts, right? And then she'd walk again. So I remember when I first tried this, I do 30 seconds. And if you've not been doing exercise for a long time, you might forget quite how this is. But normally, at least, and this is how I think it is, that the first 30 seconds, maybe a minute, you're running along and hey, this is okay, I feel good, and hey, I feel like I've got lots of energy. And then suddenly after that kind of time, you suddenly you can feel the lungs working harder and it's a bit more maybe uncomfortable. So what I love about this technique is when I did 30 seconds, first of all, I almost wanted to laugh because like, hey, that felt really good and that was really easy to do, right? Um, so that really works for me because now we're in a positive, cheerful state of mind and we're much more motivated, I think, to do the same thing the next day. If we do too much and it's hurting a bit, the next day might be much harder to persuade ourselves to go out and do it again. Maybe we can do that. Maybe we can do it for a number of days. But how many of us are really good at sticking to a new exercise program just because it's good for us, like just because mentally we tell ourselves it's good for us? So keeping the body on board, feeling it's good for us as well, can really help that. So same logic as I mentioned a couple of minutes ago. I like to do like 10 minutes of walking first because that warms up my joints because I sometimes have sore knees. And then I do a little bit of running and then I walk and so on. And whatever time you need. If 30 seconds is way too easy for you, then you're going to try a bit longer. And if 30 seconds is about right for you, then I'm just suggesting you do that for a week or two. And then you see, are you already feeling stronger? And can you do longer than 30 seconds now? If 30 seconds is too long, then you're just going to do less. Okay? So you're making this kind of sandwich, whatever length of times you feel is good for you. So you might do 5 minutes of walking, first of all, 30 seconds of running, another 5 minutes of walking, and then another 30 seconds of running, and so on. And you are going to decide how many of those cycles you do before you back home and get into your shower. All right. So it was just really interesting for me over this last year because it was really interesting how much of a difference the exercise like that makes. At least that seemed to be exactly what was happening for me. So I've had some difficult phases over this year, and I was feeling a bit upset and anxiety and different things. And I was kind of accepting it. I was kind of thinking, yeah, it's because lots of difficult things are going on for me right now, and I'm trying to think about what I need to do and work out, you know. And so I'm kind of accepting it. I'm not enjoying it, but I'm accepting it. And then I was trying the vigorous exercise just because I thought, oh, these people are saying it's healthy, let me try it. And and then I was noticing that when I would stick to doing some vigorous exercise each day, the anxiety and the upset wasn't there. So suddenly I was thinking, well, it's not normal then. It's not reasonable to think I must be feeling something because there's all this stuff going on. It's possible, at least, that the exercise be strong enough to take away those things. It's possible, of course, that people can have much more stress than I was having, and therefore maybe the vigorous exercise is not enough for them, or they may have issues that they need therapy for and counseling for, and so on. So I take that as a given. But it was still very, very exciting for me that we don't have to take it as a given that we're feeling upset if we know we're not doing exercise. And I don't normally put those two things together. So I'm saying it here because I'm just thinking it's possible other people may not make the connection there as well. All right. Another one that I like, another exercise that might be easy to do if we're staying at home, would be to skip. So if you do this kind of skipping thing, maybe you can do that around a room. In our house, we're lucky because we have like a long kitchen dining room area. So I've got like some space there to skip up and down in. Um, Again, find your level. I find if I do 1 minute, it definitely does something for me. I definitely get the heart rate going. If I do 2 minutes, it does like even more of a job of that. So if I'm coming down and looking to do something, again, it's just another exercise that I can do, and I often change it up which one I'm going to do. Skipping has got this advantage that it's left-right coordinated, so left arm moving forwards when the right leg moves forwards, and the right arm with the left leg. So that synchronized rhythmic movement also is very good for communicating between the two hemispheres, linking those two. And that helps a lot with processes like processing work-on information, emotional processing, also can help us, therefore, deal with stress better, calm our emotions more. Okay? But so even if it's got that advantage, the main thing is, can you do it? Do you like to do it? Do you prefer to do another exercise? And I would stick with doing the exercise that you prefer and feels good to you. Okay? So those are just some things for me. I'm just wondering if you can think of your own things that you can do, either physically can do or with the restraints of your work or looking after children at home that you can do for those reasons. Which exercise can you do? What else would possibly get your heart going and your breathing going and would work and works for you to calm your nervous system down? Oh, so if you've tried some of those things right now and you've been pausing this video, I'm wondering what your stress levels are now. The levels of like how much of a load do you feel is on your brain? Is it still at 10? And hopefully it's dropped down and that you're feeling better. All right. Very, very good. I think that's enough for right now. Do email me if you've tried out some of these things and it worked for you. If it didn't work for you, I also would be curious to hear about that, why it didn't work for you. But I wish you well with all these things. Okay, take care for now. Bye bye bye.